Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Hey, it's me, Sans, as I always say. Do you want to have a bad time? Maybe it's the way that you're dressed. You might remember me from my starring roles in Undertale, Earthbound, Super Smash Bros. Deltarune, Colton's Steakhouse and Grill, the 2019 film Joker. And a lot of people ask me all the time, hey Sans, how are you always dressed so cool? Other than my awesome, iconic blue Sans jacket, of course. One way that you can dress cool, like your friend Sans from the famous anime Undertale Be Like, is by going to teespring.com/JustNerd. There are cool shirts. They have Undertale characters on them, but they're not just they're Lego Undertale characters. Lego Undertale characters by Just Nerd Productions. You want that? Don't tell me you don't want that. You want it. Remember to also support Undertale and Lego ideas. Remember that as well. And stay determined, Bucko. Hello everybody, my name is Ben and welcome back to a video that I've definitely never ever recorded before, and that this is definitely not something that I did a while ago and absolutely messed it up and then left it unlisted and left it on a playlist and someone found it, and yeah, that definitely never happened, Magic Figs. But this is my third ever random custom minifigure review, which is basically when I have a bunch of minifigures that I don't really put in a huge showcase or anything. Sometimes it's because I canceled the showcase. Sometimes it's just because I kind of made these as one-off figures. And so, yeah, and these are pretty much usually unedited. This one I did have a cool intro to, making you want to buy my merch, my really cool merch that you can buy, Undertale merch. And yeah, I've wanted to make this one for a while, and I figured I have enough random customs now to do it, so I'm just going to get right in it with my brother Jude as the first minifigure. So this is based off of his internet character, Jude the Skeleton. Those of you who know him know his character. I drew it for him, and I've always been pretty proud of it. And he's been asking me to make a figure of him for a while, so I finally did it, and I'm really, really proud of it. He uses that skater hair. And I sculpted this hat onto it with some E-tape, and then sculpted the ears for his classic Pikachu hat that he actually, in real life, he wears this all the time, like every day, all the time. And then he has his shirt, which I wrote the Beatles on. I'm really proud of that. You guys will probably remember that he really likes the Beatles. I recently did a Beatles custom review that I made for him. And then he has the white stripes on his arms from that Beatles sweatshirt that he doesn't actually have. I made that up for his character. And then his camo pants, which he wears a lot in real life. And then he has his little Pikachu slippers. And he has short legs as well, and a little bit of E-tape on his arms there to give him sort of the cool sweater sleeves. So that's Jude. I'm really proud of that guy. That was a figure I made for my brother. Now for a figure I made for my mom, and that is Jo March from Little Women, the movie. She and my sister really, really like it. So I did that this Mother's Day. I think it was this Mother's Day. Yeah, this Mother's Day. And I was really proud of it. Yeah, it's based off the movie, and then when they're in their winter outfits, which actually the movie is low-key. It's really, really good. And she has the book Little Women, actually, with her there. She uses the April O'Neil face from the 2012 Ninja Turtles line with new painted eyebrows. And then she has the Emma Swan hair, which I think looks really good. Custom paper cape. She's in the winter outfit from that. I think I already said that, but I'm not sure. That she has that sort of jacket design that she has in the movie. And then I drew the stripes that are on her dress. I don't make dresses often, so it was difficult to do, but that is the Harry Potter dress piece, which is the same piece I use for Gaster. For some reason recently, a lot of people have been asking me what I use to make Gaster. It's this piece. It's a dress piece. They use it for Dumbledore and a bunch of other professors and people, and Harry Potter especially. So that is Jo March. It's always hard to get her to hold her book. But that's Joe March from Little Women. Now I have a couple of figures that go together. No, excuse me. I had something stuck in my throat there. But these are 3 figures that were going to be for a showcase that I was making, but I kind of canceled it. And that is Cuphead figures. I was going to be making a bunch of Cuphead characters. I didn't ever finish it because I kind of just did it because I didn't really have any customs to make. I was pretty bored, and Jude had just got Cuphead on Switch. We were playing it a lot, but honestly, I've kind of been working on other stuff, so I never got to really make the Devil or Cagney Carnation or the other characters I planned on making. But they're pretty cool, so I thought I'd show them off here. Cuphead and Mugman both have this same head that started out as a 1x1 tube brick, and then I sculpted the cut part on and the little handle, and then I used paper to make his little straw. Oh, and his little nose is sculpted as well. The eyes and face I'm really proud of, as well as the top there. And then he has these black arms that have the top painted white and the white gloves with the black lines on it. And he has short legs. Pretty much the exact same thing for Mugman, except he's blue and has different eyes. His face I'm not as proud of. Mugman's face I'm super proud of. I mean Cuphead. But Mugman's I don't think turned out as great, but he's still really cool. I really like him still. I think they're both really cool together. And then King Dice is one I haven't really seen in LEGO, so I wanted to make it, and I think he looks pretty cool. So he has one of those Minecraft heads and one of those 3D bow ties from the LEGO Batman movie. And then I painted all the little dice dots on his head, which I think look really, really cool. And his face I'm really proud of too. And then he has the paper purple jacket that has the coattails in the back, then the dark purple pants with the purple shoes, and he has the lines on his hands as well. Yeah, I think he turned out really, really good. I'm really proud of all these guys. I think they all turned out pretty good. There's one other bunch of figures that kind of go together, really just 2 figures. And again, this is unscripted and unedited and all that, unlike on my other custom reviews, so if you're wanting something more fancy, check those out. But this is Jesse and James from Team Rocket, because I was planning on making a whole bunch of Pokemon figures, and I made a couple for Smash Bros. Specifically, but that was really it. These are my favorite characters from the Pokemon anime, or I don't know if you actually call it an anime, but it was my favorite characters from the show, and so I wanted to make them. Jesse here, I used this cool paper design that I also used for characters like Aang from Avatar The Last Airbender, just with a little bit of modifying, so it has holes for her arms, which was actually really hard to do because it goes over this part and everything, and now I can't really get it to come undone, but it looks really cool. And then her hair was one of those older Joker hair pieces, and I sculpted the big, whatever this is, that her hair is, which is pretty cool hair. The face I'm not the most proud of. I tried to make it very animated, and sometimes that works out, sometimes it doesn't. It didn't really for her, but I think she still looks pretty good. Oh, and also these are to go with my Ash Ketchum that I made my brother a while back. And then she has these dual molded white and black arms from the Mad Scientist, and then these paper skirt. Underneath she has some black painted boots. And James is pretty similar in a lot of ways, but James is probably my favorite Pokemon character, so I really wanted to make him. And he has this cool, the same cool paper shirt thing with the R on it and everything. Really proud of those. He has the Tarzan hairpiece painted blue, which I think turned out really good, and I think his face looks a lot better as well. And then other than that, really the only difference is I had to actually paint the white on his arms. I didn't have more dual molded arms, and I painted his boots black, and he has just, his shirt is completely black underneath. So yeah, that's James and Jesse. Cool guys. So, one trend that I kind of started this year, because there's been this little thing this year. You might have heard of it, you might have not. It's called COVID-19 and quarantine. And because of that, I've kind of been stuck inside, and my family has used the time to watch a lot of movies, and I mean a lot. So we've kind of done this rotation thing to where every week, or not every week, but either we'll all pick a movie and do a rotation like that, or we will watch a marathon. So we watch so many marathons, pretty much anyone you could think of. I mean, off the top of my head, Back to the Future, Pirates of the Caribbean, Star Wars, all the Marvels, all the Gravity Falls, all the DuckTales, all of it. Basically, if you can think of it, we probably watched the whole thing. And we're gonna be watching even more stuff like that. So, as we did these quarantine binges, I would kind of make one character from each of them, or at least from a couple of them, not all of them, because obviously not all of them. Some of them I made entire showcases on, like Avatar, even though I binged that multiple times, and the Back to the Future one that's coming soon. But these are just kind of ones that I just wanted to make one figure for. So, for example, for not Captain Marvel, Peggy Carter, or Agent Carter, I can't think of the name right now, is a show we watched, and I really enjoyed it, and I really liked Edwin Jarvis at the time, so I made him. And I think he looks really cool. He has that Mr. Incredible hair, and he has the paper jacket there, and it's all painted gray with the little jacket part underneath, which I think looks really good. He has a flamingo, which is a joke from the second season. And he looks really cool next to my Agent Carter that I made, so I'm really proud about that. A couple more figures of that type. I was actually going to make a bunch of Empire Strikes Back figures because that's my favorite movie, but instead I ended up just making one, and that is my favorite Star Wars character of all time, and one of my favorite characters ever, and that is Lando Calrissian. I really like Lando. I always have. And so I had the official face for him, so I used that, only it was broken, so I had to do some repairing to it, but you can't even tell, so I'm really proud of that. Then he has the Finn hairpiece. He has this cool silvery blue cape. It was already like that, and then I just painted it gold on the inside and made this paper collar part, and then I gave him this light blue torso, which I painted on, and he has a 3D belt there. And then his gun is just the Star Wars gun. Then I just painted the top light grayish blue, and he's pretty simple, but I really like him, and he's one of my favorite characters, so I'm really glad finally got to make him. One last one of this type is going to be Barbossa from Pirates of the Caribbean, because Pirates is another one of the ones we watched, and Barbossa is my favorite character. And I've kind of always wanted to make him. I've always wanted to make a bunch of Pirates characters, but I figured I'd just settle on one, and that would be Barbossa, because he's my favorite. He has the actual Barbossa hat, which I cut into a little bit. I made these kind of notches, and then sculpted the feathers, which I think look really good. And then I sculpted his hair, which I think also turned out really good. His torso was really complicated, and it used a lot of different details, and there's a lot of e-tape and paper details, but I think it turned out super good, so I'm really proud of that. And then his arms are pretty simple. There's some e-tape on them there, and then his jacket is paper, of course. And then he has dark brown legs, and also some paper details to be his shirt continuing there. And then he has his sword and his apple, and also I put a sword hilt right here, so his sword can actually fit into there just like that, which is pretty cool. And then the apple is just a running joke as well. And that is it. That is totally every single figure. There's totally it. There's no other figures. No other figures at all in this. Wait a sec. Wait, what's that music? Wait a sec. What? Okay, I won't continue the joke for that long, but you get the joke. But I made Ethan Hunt because we also watch Mission Impossible, and that's one of my favorite movie franchises, and I've always wanted to make Ethan Hunt, so I did. And I also made the funny joke where he came in on the rope. Did you see that? It was really funny. I laughed. But anyways, yeah, this is Ethan Hunt, the coolest Mission Impossible guy himself. I've always wanted to make. He usually doesn't. I forgot to take this part off. That was just so we could hang from the rope. I had a lot of outfit choices for him because he has six movies, and each of them are really good. Besides the second one. The second one's trash. So I had a lot of choices, but I decided on his one from Ghost Protocol where he's climbing the tall building. It's an iconic scene or whatever. And also it looked very similar to, it looks pretty much exactly like the scene when he's hanging down on a rope. And I thought that could be fun for this gag. So he uses the Superman hair, which I sanded up a little. And then he has the goggles from that scene painted white. His face, his eyes and eyebrows are custom, while his mouth and cheekbones are not. He uses some E-tape to be this vest here, as well as some E-tape on the sides for the pockets on the vest. He also has E-tape that helps with his little sticky electric gloves there. And then he has the short sleeves painted. His legs took a lot of time, but I think they turned out pretty good with his little sneakers painted with the dark silver. And then for his accessories, he has a gun because he's a super spy. And he has his gum, which is not from the same movie. It's from the first movie. But if you remember, he sticks it together and it makes a bomb. And I just thought that's an accessory I'd like to make. I don't have his Lego Dimensions version. I would really like to have that pack because I loved Lego Dimensions and I always wanted to get that pack. But I never did, so I made my own here. And that is it for random custom minifigures. I'm gonna try to set them up, but I gotta put Ethan back on his rope here. So thanks for watching. If you like custom reviews, I've got a lot on this channel. So you can check all those out. There's a figure. That's a figure. Look at how random all these custom minifigures are. That is the randomest thing I've ever seen, dude. Yeah, thanks for watching. Stick around because next week I have a really cool custom review, a really big custom review. And when I mean big custom review, I mean big custom review. It's going to be super cool. Stick around. You're going to love it. You're going to like it. You're going to want some more of it. So please wait for that. It's going to be super duper cool. I guess check out my Undertale theme merch. I don't know what else to say. What else do I even usually say at the end of these videos? Somehow I always find something to say. But today I'm not, so I will just end it and say stay nerdy, friends.